So is this a preview of the general election? Joining me now, Representative Marsha Blackburn, Ron Meyer, and Jessica Tarlov. Jessica, you're the Democrat on the panel. Do you think this is unfair that Hillary, I mean, she talked about being the first woman in the White House over and over again.
Not over and over, actually. After she said in December, what's more outsider than being the first woman president? It didn't sit well. She hasn't really used that line of argumentation since then. Of course, she talks about women's issues. She talks about equal pay, support for women's health care, paid maternity leave. But, I mean, that's not the same thing as playing the gender card, just talking about issues that are important to women.
So what do you think, then, that Donald Trump is talking about?
Oh, I think he's talking about the fact, well, he's just outing himself really as a sexist, and he's talking about something that he thinks is going to get a lot of applause.
Why is he a sexist if
because he's just judging her based on her gender.
From what I remember, Hillary and Hillary supporters have talked about it's about time for a woman to be in the White House for a long time.
Not just Hillary supporters. 80% of Americans say that they're ready for a woman in the White House. That's not just a Democrat statistic. That's the entire country. It's not just Democrats that want a woman in the White House. And Hillary Clinton, she's not running just as the woman's candidate. I mean, she's running on her national security, foreign policy experience. She's running on her ability to manage the economy. She's also running on the fact that she understands women's needs and what we need to make sure that the economy and the country works for us.
Representative Blackburn, I've heard Hillary the other day saying, if she's running for higher wages for women, she's running for more respect for women. She expects to get a large share of the women's vote net to usher her into the White House.
Well, I find it so interesting that she frequently brings up the gender politics issue. It is part of her modus operandi, and you have to say, yeah, sure, Hillary is smart, she's well educated, but by relying on Bill to get from point A to point B to point C, is that something that has kind of undermined her efforts? And I don't think people see her record of success. I think they see her as having been quite busy. But what was her record of success when it came to foreign policy? What was her record as she looked at the Senate? What has she accomplished for women? Has she created jobs? Has she built a business? Talk about she needs to, if she has accomplishment in that area, then Hillary needs to be talking about those things. Carly Fiorina is much more accomplished, if you will, in that private sector and dealing with those issues.
You know, Ron, a lot of people are going to say, by the way, a lot less couth, if you will, that Hillary Clinton did the Tammy Wynette thing, stood by Bill, despite all of the allegations and negativity, and how dare she try to represent women?
I think that's a good point, and Congresswoman Blackburn did a good job defending the remark. But here's the problem. Trump needs to reread the art of the deal. You don't want to attack somebody on their strength. He's saying this is her strongest point, that she's running on the gender card and it's working, but he's not really doing what Congresswoman Blackburn did, is explaining why he's saying that and why it matters. You don't want to attack somebody at their strength. You want to attack them at their weakness. And this is actually Donald Trump's weakness because he's polling so poorly among women. He really needs to make his case to why he would be the best candidate for women. And right now, that's not what he's doing. He's actually playing directly into what Jessica said. I mean, that was a ball on a tee for Jessica to knock out of the park and call him a sexist. The Republicans and conservatives don't want to make it easy.
Yeah, Hillary should be able to say, I'm not running because I'm a woman. I'm running because I'm the most well-qualified person for the job.
Right.
She's not able to say that.
With all due respect, Representative Blackburn, that is what she's saying. You're just not listening to her.
Not.
And for you for your first comment to be about the fact that she rode her husband's coattails, that's also fundamentally sexist to say this. It's a hugely qualified woman.
Quite frankly, on that.
Well, that's
it's not a great electoral strategy.
All right, guys.
It's not a good electoral strategy. I'll put it that way.
Well,
Our Congresswoman...
It remains to be seen. I know there's certain books, like The Art of War, that might say you do want to attack your enemy's strength. But anyway, let's leave it there. It was fantastic.
It's failed in